good morning and welcome to another Monday Coffee with Pastor Jordan. I'm here to talk to you today about the things that are bringing me hope and inspiration. Yesterday was Easter, and on Easter we celebrate the resurrection of Christ. And one of the things that is inspiring me this week is thinking about what happened after that. On Easter we mostly talk about the empty tomb, Jesus showing up to Mary in the garden. But there's some stories that happen afterwards and how Jesus shows up to the disciples. And we all know the story of Thomas, as we have dubbed him Doubting Thomas. And Thomas didn't believe that Jesus was actually resurrected until Jesus showed up and showed him the wounds in his hands. Even when Jesus showed up, before he showed him the wounds in his hands and in his side, Thomas still wasn't really believing it because Jesus looked slightly different to him. He didn't recognize him as well as he did before. But it was the wounds that made Thomas believe again. I think there's something to be said here because Jesus didn't resurrect as a completely different body, a completely different person, one of those angelic beings type of things, but he still held the wounds from when he was human. I think this has great gravity for our own wounds, the wounds we face in this world, that they can be redeemed, they can be reconciled, they can be used for good. We often see sometimes people who have been helped by one thing become that thing to help others. For example, like a therapist who has found help in therapy in their own life, and then they follow the career path to become a therapist themselves to help others. Or somebody who is maybe helped by medicine when they were younger, so they become a doctor later in life to help those and give back. Or maybe somebody has found reconciliation for their wounds in religion, so they become a part of a church staff or become a pastor. These are the things that we do in order to reconcile and redeem our wounds. And we think that for some reason, in order to redeem our wounds, they have to disappear. But Jesus shows us they don't, that they are part of it, that somehow we can take that suffering, that hurt, and we can redeem it and reconcile it and make it new into something else to help others. So what are the wounds that you are facing this week? What are the wounds that you have in your life that you can maybe let Jesus transform, that help Jesus to help you redeem those and helping others? I think after Easter, we throw our celebrations and say, great, Jesus is alive, death no longer has a say. But some of us still carry those wounds. Some of us still carry a lot. So my hope for you this week is that you find those places in your heart that God can reconcile and redeem, and you could take part in that. It's not always just a one-way street. It's not just Jesus making things all better for you, but you are participating with Jesus in reconciling that. Maybe you know somebody who has wounds. Maybe you can be the face of love and compassion to someone else, a face of hope. Because if we look at the Easter story, we do know that Jesus goes up to be with God eventually. He's back with his disciples, showing up in random places, but eventually he goes up to God and says, I give you the Spirit now, and I am going up to be with the Father. And you are going to do greater things than these. Live into the greater things than these this week. Live into the resurrection of Christ. Live into the fact that our wounds may always be there, but they may be used for good in the world. That is what is giving me hope and inspiration this week. Have a good week.